Welcome to the Balanced Hormone Solution Podcast. If you're a woman, 35 plus, feeling exhausted, struggling to lose weight, and wondering where your libido went, this is for you. I am Tracy Aaron, a functional medicine practitioner who helps women balance their hormones naturally without prescriptions, guesswork, or trendy nonsense. Because here's the truth. Your symptoms aren't random. They're signals. And if you know how to listen, you can fix the root cause and start feeling like yourself again. If you're ready for real solutions, let's get to it. Welcome back to the Balanced Hormone Solution Podcast. Today, I have a very special guest. If you have been a longtime listener, then you have heard from him before. It is my firstborn son, Riley. Here he is. Welcome to the show, Riley.
Hey, guys.
Riley's been home for the summer, and we have enjoyed all kinds of food adventures and family time, and I cannot wait for this episode today. I want to interview him, and the reason why I think this is really appropriate for my audience, even though he is a male, definitely not 35 plus, and will never encounter something like perimenopause. He is studying exercise science and nutrition, and he has learned quite a bit that I think is useful for my audience. But beyond that, he has undergone his own personal transformation this year, starting earlier this year, where he had asked myself for some nutrition advice, and kind of got him started on that road, and he took it and became his own expert and had a massive body transformation, and which he's going to tell us about. And he now has become my own coach. So it's been a fun little turning of the tables. But why have him, just a college student, he's only 20, almost 21, to talk about this? Well, he's not a guru and he's not selling anything. He's just a college kid who decided to take his health seriously. He tracked everything. He decided on his goals. He stayed consistent. He lost over 30 pounds this year and got down to around 8% of body fat. If you know what that looks like, that's very, very impressive. People don't do that by accident. There's just no way. So what I love about having him here is that he is the proof of the same principles that I teach in the Balanced Hormone Solution. In the program that I run with all of my clients, it's just applied in a different body. But the beauty of this is that the fundamentals don't really change. We measure, we track, we stay consistent, we trust the process. So he's going to share what he's learned in the trenches, not from a textbook or his professors, but from doing it every single day for months. And I can't wait to hear him share his story with you. So Riley, why don't we start at the beginning? Tell us where you started. What were you eating before? How did you feel? What made you decide to change? Most college students aren't really interested in eating properly. They're scavenging dorm rooms and bottoms of pantries at their friends' houses. What motivated you to jump into this?
Well, that's a really good question. I would first say that I've kind of always had a backing in fitness, playing sports, and personal fitness goals are something that's just been a part of my life for a very long time. So I've always had a little bit of a baseline. And it was about middle of sophomore year, after 2 years in college, and everyone knows about the freshman 15 and just gaining some weight, and that's kind of part of it. And I definitely went through that. But I remember around Christmas time, halfway through my sophomore year, I just felt horrible. I looked horrible. I was really uncontent with how I was feeling, how I was looking. And I thought to myself, shoot, why don't I just get in shape for spring break? And that's what I kind of told myself. So called up my mom. Hey, make me some macros. I kind of want to get in shape, and it got me interested. And I started off very, very simple, just eating yogurt all the time and eating 4 eggs instead of 10 kind of thing. Just minimizing my portions and eating healthy, whole foods that I already did enjoy, but I didn't really know much more about it than that. And then I went on spring break, ate everything that you do on spring break, and came back and was like, shoot, like I want to take this farther than just spring break. Like I felt so good. And I did not feel good when I was eating the tacos and all the uh, crap that you do have on spring break. So I was like, shoot, let's keep going on this. Like I felt the best I ever felt on that. Um, and as a college student, when I buy my own groceries, it's the things that I need to buy. So, I just started to make it a lifestyle, and I've always been into food. I love cooking amazing food. And it was an outlet for me to have some guidelines around what I was eating. And, I just kind of started from there.
Okay. So, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, but like think back to those first few weeks. What did they look like for you? Like, tell me especially what surprised you? What was it hard to make that change in the first few weeks?
Definitely. I think it was just surprising the things that I would use without even thinking about it. Example, like peanut butter. Peanut butter is an amazing fat source, and it's quite healthy for you actually. But there's a difference between 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and 5 tablespoons of peanut butter. And when you're just kind of living life, you kind of just throw a dollop on there or 2 dollops, and then suddenly that's a lot more than you originally intended. Or when you're cooking a meal with oil or butter, you just use a lot naturally. So I definitely surprising the amount of oils and sauces too, just like a Chick-fil-A sauce or a barbecue sauce or stuff like that has just so much added sugar. Just kind of cutting that out and realizing, wow, like that's actually a lot of calories that I didn't even think about. And now I wouldn't even look back at that.
Okay. So that was what, 8 months ago or so? Like describe what a typical day looks like for you now.
Now a typical day is I wake up, I try to get some sun, get the circadian rhythm going. I like to eat a little pre-workout kind of meal, some carbs, maybe a little bit of protein. Go to the gym, come back, have a little post-workout meal, some carbs, more protein, and then 2 more meals structured with a protein, a fat, and a carb. Pretty moderate. I try to get around 180 to 190 grams of protein a day.
Which is what, 1 gram per pound of body fat for you?
Exactly.
I mean, not body fat, body weight.
Yes, body weight or even just body goal.
Yeah.
And doing that, having around 60 grams of fats and around 150 to 200 grams of carbs. So,
yeah. And you tracked this entire time?
yeah,
Every single bite that went into your mouth?
every single bite. And I was made fun of, but I was definitely given a hard time at the start, but he just stayed persistent, and now, it's really done me well, and I'm very thankful I did it.
You've even been known to carry your kitchen scale to a restaurant. Is that right?
I have carried my kitchen scale to a restaurant. I do not think that is necessary, but I'm 20 and I did that one time.
He was very, very, very committed. So tell me, what's the biggest difference between how you used to eat and how you eat now? And I don't just mean the food, but like how you think about the food.
Definitely, kind of touched on the oils and stuff, but substituting just having eggs, which we all know eggs to be a healthy food, but eggs are, basically the same ratio. There's 7 grams of protein and 6 grams of fat, and I'm allotted way more protein than I am fat. So just adding things like egg whites into my eggs just to make it a little more protein dense, or having 2 pieces of sourdough instead of 4 pieces of sourdough, that kind of thing, just to kind of make sure my carbs aren't being used all at one meal kind of thing. Or even measuring my cooked rice and measuring things that are uncooked and cooked respectively, because things lose or gain water in the cooking process, and I want to be good about that.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. Yeah, tracking is such a powerful tool, right? Like it provides the structure that we need to stay within some sort of boundary. Otherwise, we just eat whatever we want. And that sometimes is too little and oftentimes is way too much. We can just go off the guardrails that way. But let's talk about like some of the habits that really moved the needle for you. Like, what happens on days that you didn't really feel like tracking? Did you still do it? Do you still do it?
Absolutely. There are hard days, I will admit, especially when you've been doing it for a while. You get tired of tracking, or you just kind of want to eyeball things and you just want to say, oh, well, that looks like 8 ounces of chicken. And there's absolute merit for you just to kind of keep going. Um, you don't always know. You want to be exact about these things, especially when it comes to more calorie dense foods. You kind of just got to keep going a little bit. And yeah, it gets hard, but you know, I can do it. Y'all can do it too. It's definitely a learning process, but I kind of started to challenge myself and make it a little game to where it was like, how perfect can I get the scale? When I want 6 ounces of chicken, I'm going to eyeball it. And if it's 6.1, I'm still going to chop that little one off, but I'm really trying to play the game and like try to get it perfect, but I do always check myself. So that is very important that you do check yourself, but playing little games like that, also just kind of constructing different meals, kind of throwing different cuisines into there, maybe different seasonings. Maybe it's like a chili seasoning one day and then a Mexican seasoning the next day. Kind of just making your food fun and just something that you can look forward to and enjoy every day. That's really my goal.
Yeah. What about social situations? You go to a party in college or eating out. Like how do you think about a menu in terms of what you're going to choose? Or what might you eat at a friend's house? When you're not planning your own meal, how do you make those decisions?
They're definitely tough decisions to be made. So um, I kind of always think about it as there's going to be extra facts that we can't see. That's just kind of a non-negotiable. In every restaurant you'll ever go to, I mean, you can go get a salad, you could go get chicken and vegetables, you can go get any quote unquote healthy meal, and there's going to be some butter, there's going to be some oil, there's going to be some residue, there's going to be a marinade, there's going to be some way to make that recipe special in their kitchen, which, props to them. It is really good food. But there are extra fats and sometimes carbs inside of that. And so when going out to eat or even going to another person's house, you just kind of got to account for that. You say, normally this chicken breast, it kind of looks around 40 grams of protein, and that would normally be about 3 grams of fat. I'm just going to make it 40 grams of protein and 10 grams of fat. And I'm going to kind of plan earlier in my day just to have some extra fat and maybe a little extra carbs set aside, just because they don't show up in places. So kind of setting yourself up to win is really important, just not kind of being bliss, knowing the things and knowing if you are going to go out with your friends or you're going to go on a date with your husband, or if you're going to go do something out, like plan for the day. We don't act like everything is 100% or just like in our own kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. How long did it take before tracking felt like easy or automatic for you?
Tracking is hard. Um, Definitely kind of going back to the game thing. It's never gotten just purely easy, but I have gotten really good at it. And being able to eyeball things like a tablespoon of butter or 8 ounces of chicken. Again, I always do check myself. It's always on the scale to make sure. Like I never do fail that part. But I'm pretty positive that if you gave me a test right now, I could give you 8 separate tablespoons of butter and they're all going to be correct. And I've gotten quite good at it. So kind of just sharpening my skills in that way. And then maybe looking at like, what does 6 ounces of lettuce look like? Like, I promise you, it's a lot more than you think it is. Or even just like an amount of vegetables. It's like, wow, like you're only giving me 4 ounces of zucchini. And I'm like, well, that 4 ounces of zucchini is actually a lot of zucchini. So, just kind of being able to eyeball things, while checking, of course, but being able to play those games and make things fun and then challenging yourself. I believe your brain's always, um, better and happier when it's being challenged. You're able to learn something through the things that you're doing, and it's not just stale. I do believe that if you make it a monotonous situation, then you will start to hate it. So, however you can make it fun and interesting, and you're learning, or maybe there's a game or a situation that works best for you, I would implore you to kind of go that route.
Yeah. It seems like knowing foods and what each food is made of in terms of its protein content, fat, carbs, etc., makes it easier when you are away from home, eating out, or in a social situation to actually put something on your plate or to consume what you know your body needs instead of just what you're being served at a restaurant. Sometimes it might be too much, sometimes it might be too little. And so getting really good at eyeballing things seems like a skill. Like once you have it for the rest of your life, really, because the weight of food doesn't change or portion sizes per se, just your own particular macros based on your goal. So this is like a skill you will be able to use for the rest of your life. It's pretty amazing. What's one thing you tell somebody who just says, look, I don't have time to track?
Uh, it really doesn't take that much time. Genuinely, the time you use to track things is the time it takes to get your skillet hot, or, get the oven up to temperature, or even just like setting up your air fryer. I mean, it literally does take 2 to 3 minutes max. Now you could sit there for 10 minutes trying to measure everything, but that would be taking it slow. You really only do need like 2 minutes. You gotta weigh your chicken real fast. You gotta weigh your zucchini real fast. You gotta weigh your butter real fast. Done. I mean, I can get that done in under a minute and 30 seconds, and that's gonna be way faster than anything's heating up. That's honestly faster than it would take me to season a meat or a vegetable. So, um, just kind of knowing it doesn't have to take a long time if you don't want it to. And if you're thorough about it and you don't, you just, you thorough, you sit there, you press tear, and you're exact about it. And then the better you get at it, the better you can be like, that's about 8 ounces. You sit it, oh shoot, that's exactly 8.1 ounces. Take that one little ounce off, done. And then you can get her cooking right there. And it didn't take me more than 30 seconds. Just do that. So, it's a skill, something to be learned, but you'll get it down within the first 2 weeks.
And would you say it's worth learning?
Absolutely. It's a non-negotiable, knowing how to track things, especially when it does come to different weights and waters. Just for example, measuring rice cooked versus uncooked. If you think about it, rice cooked has a bunch of water inside of it. That's kind of the process of cooking rice. So, being able to just cook it, or being able to measure it uncooked really fast, you pour it in a jar. You're able to see that you need 3 ounces uncooked rice. Then you pour it in your boiling water. I mean, that's taking you hardly any time at all. And you're able to learn more about the amount of food that you're doing, so that later in life, the skill of being able to eyeball, being able to see, like when you're out on a date and you're like, oh shoot, that just like looks like 3 ounces of rice, because I've had 3 ounces of rice so many times. So, the skill kind of carries all throughout your life.
Yeah, totally. Well, let's talk about some of the common mistakes that you see. I mean, now that you're studying this in school, you've lived it for sure. You are currently living it. Let's talk about like what are some of the things that you see people getting wrong? Like what's the most common mistake people make when they think they're eating well, but they're just not seeing results?
Um, I've kind of touched on it a few times, but weighing things cooked versus uncooked. Either is fine. Just making sure that what you put in your macro app or your tracker is the cooked or the uncooked. That is very important. Nah, eyeballing things, and then a thing that I'm very, very good on, and is hard to learn sometimes for some, but just understanding that, like, if you take a bite of bacon or something, you take a bite of a Snickers bar, I mean, that's all right. Like, we're not gonna over here and judge you, but you do have to account that in your day. Just because no one saw it, no one heard it, doesn't mean it didn't happen. And those calories are used in your body, no matter how early, late, in the middle of the day it is. So just being exact about the things that you do put in your mouth, I think that is extremely important. You can't hide it from your body. It did happen. And again, it's all right. You just have to say, all right, I'm not going to let it happen again. And I'm just going to be true about that it happened when it did happen. And for someone that maybe isn't seeing it, just it will come with time. Like one of the things that I think is really cool, and one of the things that gave me a lot of comfort kind of through my prep is this. It's biological, it's scientific, it's just a whole cold hard fact of life, just the same as 2 + 2 = 4. And it's, if you are in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight. That's just a thing. It's a rule, the same as the sun coming up every single day. It just will happen. It's just plain numbers. So, when maybe it's prolonged and maybe you haven't lost a lot of weight, also understanding that losing weight isn't always linear. Like, I promise you, I did not go down in a straight line. Like, some days I'm 200, some days I'm 202, some days I'm 199, some day, like, it does come in fluctuations, and that's just part of the beautiful things that are our bodies. But the main thing is, if you are consuming less than you are burning, and quote unquote, that is what a calorie deficit is you're burning more than you're consuming, you will lose weight over time. That's just a non-negotiable.
What about your take on healthy foods, right? Like, think sweet potatoes, chicken thighs, something like that. That like can stall progress if you're not measuring them. Even white rice, bananas, anything really, right? Anything in the wrong proportion can be too many calories and knock you out of the calorie deficit. And you think this entire time you're just eating quote unquote healthy foods, but never in a calorie deficit, and you get no progress. And then you think, well, eating healthy doesn't work for me. It's like, what do you think about healthy foods, quote unquote, that stall progress?
Well, I definitely say that eating healthy foods is absolutely where we want to start. So eating things like rice, potatoes, lean meats, vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, those kind of things, those are absolutely amazing things for your body. And maybe if you're not losing weight just yet, your body is getting used to being it's actually getting nutrition and actually getting the energy it needs for the day. And just with that, you're going to feel a lot better. Your hormones are going to feel better. Your sleep is going to get better, which is going to help you recover and feel more alive and more motivated each day. So, I mean, if beyond the calorie deficit, that is just eating those quote unquote healthy foods are amazing. And I will say a healthy food, I would say, is something that is either a single ingredient or very near a single ingredient food. Like something that maybe you need the nutrition label to see how many grams of carbs, fats, or protein on it, but you don't have to wonder what the different ingredients are. Like when you buy potatoes from the store, it's not potatoes plus this, plus this, plus that. It's just potatoes and the nutrition label of potatoes. So eating those single ingredient foods or near single ingredient foods are definitely the first step. And then just kind of being true about the things that you are eating. So, I mean, take me, for example. I mean, I love rice. I love sweet potatoes. I love potatoes. I love chicken. I love all the things, but I didn't just get to eat however many potatoes I wanted each day. I have to eat them in moderation and what fits my goals. And a lot of times that's a lot. And I get full on potatoes a lot of the time because they carry a lot of water and they're a great food for us. But just because it's quote unquote a healthy food, we still got to watch the amounts. I mean, I still got to watch the amount too. So, just kind of start there at step one. And then step two is watching the amount of the healthy food you consume. And with that, I mean, you will lose weight, and you just gotta adjust your macros a little bit and you will be cooking.
All right, let's talk about protein specifically. I mean, I find for women in my group, most of them struggle the most with getting enough protein. And my own personal experience is that unless you weighed ground beef, chicken breast, salmon, egg whites, like there was no way I would have eaten that much ground beef before I knew how much I needed on my plate to actually, surpass 30 grams a meal and onward and upward to where I'm at now, around 45 grams a meal. I wouldn't have thought that I needed that much. And here we are. So protein specifically, I think, is a little bit of a struggle for people, women in particular, right? So how much protein did you say you eat per day? And how do you figure out how to distribute it among your meals?
Well, protein is a really good topic. It's kind of the golden child of your macronutrients. Everyone kind of understands like high protein this, high protein that. Their meats, their eggs, their yogurts, their stuff like that. For me, myself, and I eat around 180 to 190 grams of protein each day. It does help me to kind of spread that out between 4 meals. And even like the very purpose of protein, a complete protein is 22 complete amino acids. And those are the amino acids that are consumed and go into your body. And that's what your gut and your body use to be able to construct your own muscle and construct the fabric of your being. So definitely under eating protein, it's not just like, oh, you're not gonna just like get a bunch of muscle immediately. Not at all, but it's just a complete baseline to make sure that you are you're healthy in and of yourself, and that your body can repair itself whenever it's sleeping, can repair itself whenever it's resting. Just having those essential, micronutrients is just incredibly important for you. With that, spreading it out between the day is kind of the best approach. I like to say that you should never really have under 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal, because you do want to be stimulating muscle protein synthesis at any time you can. And that basically is just your body recognizing that you have protein in your body and being able to use it. Having maybe like 10 grams in a protein bar really isn't doing that much, because your body probably is just going to digest it and store it away, just because there wasn't enough to activate those muscle protein synthesis receptors. So having it kind of spread out between 3 meals, maybe having 30, 30, 30, eventually 45, 45, 45, maybe like just kind of simple numbers like that. And using things like yogurt. I mean, yogurt's an amazing thing. We can put berries in it and we can put flavoring in it, and suddenly it's like ice cream. It's like one of the greatest things ever. Or having scrambled eggs every morning. I mean, that's an immediate win. Or taking ground beef and making it into tacos or a little burger bowl or little hamburger patties or stuff like that. Or even like, dicing up your chicken and putting it over rice, or maybe putting some like a sriracha sauce on top of it, or however you may love it. Or even salmon. I mean, salmon's really good. You put it in the oven and it tastes awesome. So there's just a million ways to do it, and finding what works best for you is definitely important. And just start with that and kind of just get your foot on having about 1/3 for every 3 meals, just kind of breaking it up evenly throughout your day, and you're going to be doing great.
So do you personally subscribe? I think, did we say this earlier? 1 pound, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Is that what you do now?
Yes, I think, and then especially in a calorie deficit, I'd probably move it to like 1 gram to pound of body weight to your goal body weight. That's definitely, protein's an amazing thing where it keeps you satiated. But especially if you do have lower calories, sometimes we don't need like a ton of protein. We just need enough to keep us satiated, to continue building muscle, and then the rest can kind of go towards making sure our hormones are balanced and making sure we have enough energy for the day.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's talk about like the mental side of things. Most of the women in my group, they're full smart women who know what to do, but sometimes we just struggle with being consistent. Was there a point, can you relate to that? Was there a point where you wanted to quit? What kept you going?
Absolutely. There were a lot of points where I wanted to quit, a lot of nights where I was just like, man, like this is really hard. And I don't even know why am I doing this? But, you kind of just keep going, and it's really important to have people around you that support you in your goals, and to know that like you're going to have temptations of other things, and that's all right. I mean, I got them. Other people get them. It's very widely discussed on the internet that people just want to quit. People want to cheat on their diet, but it's the people that are smart and realize that they set out for a goal, and that same setting out for a goal is eventually going to be the thing to kind of get them through. I know, especially the last 3-4 weeks of my prep kind of into my bodybuilding competition stuff, it got really, really hard. And I remember just wanting to quit and just being like, this sucks. I don't want to weigh food anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. But just keep going on. Know it's hard, but that's honestly the thing that kind of gives you the structure and holds you together, and it makes you a better person between that, because after you're able to do something like conquer your food and conquer the temptation and your mind saying that you can't do it, I mean, wow, it just gives you the most amount of freedom and the most amount of drive that I've ever felt in my life. I mean, it's just motivated me now afterward to the highest amount, because I realize that I can do anything. Because if I can say no to my stomach being hungry, something that's biologically like one of the biggest emotional drivers, my stomach, like I can say no to a lot of other temptational things that we do experience in our lives. So it's a lot of character development that does go into it, but I believe in y'all, and I can do it. A lot of people can do it. I know y'all can do it. And even when it does get hard, just be encouraged that you absolutely can get through it, and it's not too much.
Yeah. It's interesting how discipline in nutrition spills over to discipline in other areas of your life. But what would you say to somebody who's like gung-ho, they're super excited, they want to lose weight, they got a personalized nutrition plan, they learned their macros, started tracking, shopping appropriately at the grocery store, doing all the things, and they're just not seeing the scale move? How would you encourage that person?
I'll first say that, first, good job. And if that's where you're in, that's the first step. And I did it too. That is honestly the most important step, because now you know within yourself that you do have the right goals, and you do have the mindset that says, I want to be a winner, and I want to achieve the things that I value. So first step, that's awesome. Kind of answer the second part of the question, is it takes a little bit of time to get started, especially if maybe you haven't been working out consistently over the past few years, or maybe even ever, or you don't really, you're not very sporty, or that's not really kind of your thing, which is totally okay. Your body will it's going to take a second to be like, wait a second, like, oh, wait, I'm being like fed appropriately. And one of the best analogies I like to use for myself is that my body is my own best friend. And when I feed it appropriately, then it wants to lose the weight. Like, it's not trying to fight me. It's not. So like when I feed it properly, well, we may see it as underfeeding or like cutting calories, but your body's actually like, oh, thank you. you're actually feeding me appropriately. And these are the foods that make me feel good and make me work properly. And so I can get proper sleep and get proper rest. And I can have energy throughout the day. And I can have less mood swings and my hormones become more regular. So, just kind of thinking about it as first steps first is we're going to say, hey, body, I'm committed to you and I'm going to make the habits that I'm going for in the future. I'm going to make it so that you feel the best. And the scale might not even move yet. And then after that, your body's going to be like, it's going to catch up and be like, oh, shoot. So you are taking care of me. I want to take care of you too. I want to lose the weight off of you because I don't really need it anymore. The body is a fascinating thing. I mean, it's the thing I chose to study in school. And one of like the best phenomenons I know is the fact that when you start feeding it, like when you might be saying, shoot, I'm so full. I have so much food in me. Your body actually kind of gets out of this stressful state and this biological state that says that I'm starving and I need to scavenge for food and that I need to eat whenever I can eat because I don't know when I'm going to eat again. And that's purely biological, something from our past. That's not our fault, but that's how we were all kind of made. And so when you feed it properly for a little bit, your body's going to be like, wow, like you're actually feeding me. I don't need all this extra poundage. I can just let it go because I know and my body is secure in itself, knowing that I'm going to eat for lunch and I'm going to eat for dinner and I'm not just going to skip a meal. So having that, and then once we kind of dial in the macros and we put you in a calorie deficit and you're eating the right foods and you're eating 3 times a day, I mean, like it's just numbers at that point. You will lose weight over time. That's just part of it. And maybe it's not going to be 5 pounds every week because if it was 5 pounds every week, your body wouldn't like that very much. But if we go at a nice steady pace of 1 to 1.5 pounds per week, like it's going to shred off like butter. And, 3-4 months later, it's already like, I mean, that's 12, 15, 20 pounds gone just like that. Just don't think it's all going to come off at one time because it did not come off for me at one time. And just kind of nurturing your body through it is the best way to do it.
Yeah, well said. I mean, the whole concept of like making your body feel safe is brand new to people. The idea that your body will release weight when it feels safe enough to do so. In the work that I do, it's like hitting that from cortisol, hitting that from insulin, hitting that from other hormones, lifestyle factors like sleep and protecting energy and how we wake up in the morning. All these things really influence whether or not our body feels safe. And most women have lived decades in a somewhat of a fight or flight mode, especially as mothers. You're taking care of so many little people and managing a multitude of tasks at once and all the things that bring them to a breaking point a lot of times where they put themselves on the back burner and now their body is screaming at them. They're no longer okay to be second or last anymore. So it's fascinating, right? That you can eat a bunch of food. Actually, the only way to lose the weight properly is to eat, and to eat a lot of food, but to eat the right foods in the right amounts, right? So that's what my clients don't believe me. Like when I give them a nutrition plan, they're like, there's no way I'm going to lose weight eating all this. And so I often have to say, like, you'll trust me now, you believe me later. Because it's a process of getting our minds wrapped around. It's not low calorie, no calorie, just eat less and move your body more that actually creates health inside. It's feeding our bodies with the proper nutrition. And sometimes that mindset is really difficult for women to get their minds around. For example, like carbs. When I was a kid, the whole craze was low fat. So people ate bagels and orange juice for breakfast because there's no fat in those things. Eggs and butter was demonized. And now we're sort of coming out of a phase where carbs have been demonized. And so we should just eat eggs and butter and steak, forget all of the carbs, because carbs is what makes us fat. And so it's these sort of transitional cultural lessons over time that shape the way that we all think about food. And so it just becomes like a little bit of a mental game as well to learn something new. But honestly, I always tell my clients, like, well, if what you are doing now was working for you, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So might as well try something new and open your minds to it. But with that said, like, what's next for you? You've been on this calorie deficit and a cut, as they call it, of losing body fat. Where do you go from here?
Definitely just building a lifestyle around it. Now my body for a while now has felt safe. My hormones are nice and balanced. I'm getting correct sleep. I wake up and I feel rested and ready to go apart my day, and I can transfer that energy and use it throughout my day just to make my quality of life a lot better. So my overall health is skyrocketing. I've felt the best I've ever felt in my life, and just being able to use that. And now, kind of after I've gone after the cut, I've been able to up my calories a little bit, but it doesn't mean I'm gaining a bunch of weight. It's just meaning I'm not losing as much as I once did. And that's totally all right. But I have the health benefits and um, the low cortisol and the good sleep and all the hormones that I've been looking for. Those are kind of established in my body. So I'm able to carry that out through school and work and the things that I enjoy. And just being able to look at it as not just a prison. It's not something that I have to do forever. It's not something that I need to do as long, but like even afterward, maybe I'm not making sure everything is down to the perfect last gram, but I do have the knowledge of knowing that's roughly 8 ounces of chicken breast, or that's 3 tablespoons of butter, or that's 3 ounces of broccoli. And I'm able to kind of like mentally put together my meals so that I know I'm eating healthily and I'm going to feel amazing like I have for a long time. So just kind of the knowledge and the ability to use repetition over time to further your health and further feeling good. And then eventually, like here in the next couple of weeks, I could absolutely just hop back on it, start, watching my portion size a little bit, and then it's just going to shred off of me because I've begun to eat, all the amazing whole foods. I mean, that's another thing is like, I don't crave Oreos. I don't crave cake or donuts or anything. I mean, I would say Oreos are like my favorite food in the world. And I've gone to the grocery store twice and passed them both times. And I'm not even interested. And it's not because I don't like them. It's not because they're not a great food, but my body just kind of understands deep down that I'm going to feel bad after I eat them. So why would I do that to myself? I'm just going to, I get to go have tacos. I get to go, make a egg sandwich at home with, eggs and egg whites and turkey and maybe some low-fat cheese. And it's like, wow, I get this amazing sandwich and I feel great afterward. I have no need for just excess sugar and stuff. My body's just completely converted into these are the things I crave, is the good foods and not the things that maybe I felt an emotional attachment to or things that I felt were like comfort foods. But the real foods that made me feel healthy and helped my hormones actually balance and prosper are now the foods that I do crave and I want every day. So
amazing. Yeah, I love how the cravings change and what you want on your plate changes. And so you think at the beginning you're just going to be fighting these desires for, I don't know, whatever kind of food, but your body actually adapts with you, which is one of the most amazing things. Well, let's just wrap this up with, like, I don't know, what piece of advice would you give to somebody who doesn't feel great in their skin? They know their clothes don't fit the way that they want to. They feel like they've tried diets. They haven't really worked. And they're really not sure that anything is going to work for them. What kind of advice would you say to somebody who wants to lose weight, but doesn't really know where to start?
My piece of advice would be to try this out. It worked for me. It's worked for thousands, millions of other people. It's just science. Like, it will happen. It's just a law about life. So, there will be great high motivational moments, and there will be discouraging moments, and we just got to take that on the chin. But at the end of the day, we have to realize that we only get this amazing body one time. We really just get this one shot. And I mean, for me and myself, and for my mom, I mean, like, I want to maximize that to the fullest potential. I mean, I want to go to the beach and feel great in my own skin. And honestly, feeling great is just a process away. It's numbers away. You just do it and you're going to feel great. And then, like, you get to carry that for as long as you want. And I promise you, like, as someone that has done it actively, and as someone is actively doing it, that no food is as good as feeling as good as you are in your own skin. There's no slice of pizza, no cookie, no Oreo, no hidden bite behind a closed door, because they all do count. That isn't going to feel as good as, feeling your best. And I do wholeheartedly believe that. I would say that from firsthand experience. And even when it comes down to just doing things about your life, your body will thank you in so many ways. I've already mentioned it a lot of times, but just, you're going to get better sleep. You're going to have more energy throughout the day. You're going to be able to spend more time with your kids. You're going to be able to go and, pick up a hobby like dancing or something. You're going to be able to go and do things that you genuinely enjoy to do because you feel like you have the energy to do it. And you feel confident in yourself because you know you can do anything you set your mind to. So, I mean, in my personal opinion, it's the best thing you could do for yourself. It's the ultimate form of investing in yourself. And that's really what you want to do. So,
Yeah. Well
that's
said. Well said. So, what do you think you're going to end up doing? You got 2 more years left of college. Going to graduate with, what's your actual degree name?
My actual degree will be a bachelor's in exercise science.
Okay.
And then minor in nutrition.
And then where do you think you'll go from there?
I've thought about a lot of things. I've always wanted to go to chiropractic school. Always been interested in that realm, but nutrition and diet coaching, bodybuilding, kind of things, working with the body is, really my passion. So if there's a way I can help others and heal others through that, ultimately that's the thing I do really want to do. I feel like I've been given a gift of it, and I want to be able to use my gift to influence others and help them through their life, because there's been plenty of times where, I've been in a dark place, or I've been in a place where I felt lost, but ultimately, a lot of that could just come down to your mental. And ultimately, when I can, help you with your mental and then help you with your physical is just a outward representation of your mental. So, just kind of helping people through their struggles and hardships in life, that's kind of like my goal. And I'm not exactly positive how I'm going to carry that out in a job one day and have a family one day, but I know that that's the gift, the passion that I've been given. So I just know it's going to work out. So
yeah, well, you're going to make an amazing coach someday, Rye. Everything that you've done for yourself, all the people you've influenced around you, and that passion you're talking about is clearly so just palpable. And so, yeah, I can't wait to see what your future looks like. But when you come home next time from college, we'll have to have you on the podcast again, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about what nutrition looks like for you during the holidays or something. But anyway, thanks for being here today. I think you have, even though you're young, you're male, I think like I mentioned in the beginning, these are principles that we all can apply. And so I loved you sharing your story. So thank you so much.
Of course. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So ladies, here's the thing. He's 20 and he's figured it out. But you're listening to this podcast. I know you're my people. You're my audience. You are smart, capable women who can absolutely do this too. So the difference between where you are and where you want to be doesn't have to be more information. It can just be consistency with the basics. And nobody ever said it was easy, but it definitely is simple. I mean, Riley doesn't have a special metabolism. He didn't have a secret supplement. He wasn't taking injections on the side. He just had a food scale, an app on his phone, and the discipline to keep showing up even when it felt tedious. So this is the work. This is the work that we all can be doing. And I hope you were encouraged by listening to him and his story today. And we'll hear from you next time, Riley. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
The Balanced Hormone Solution Podcast. See you next time.
See ya.
That's it for today's episode of the Balanced Hormone Solution Podcast. If this resonated, don't just listen, do something about it. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you know another woman who's tired of feeling like a stranger in her own body, send her this way. For more support, check out the show notes. I've got resources to help you get started. Just remember, your body isn't broken. You just need the right tools. See you next time.